Hello, I'm Brad Hadank, and welcome to Sportspage. In this program, we talk with the athletes, coaches, and staff who work to make University of Central Missouri Athletics one of the premier college sports programs in the MIAA and Division II as a whole. This is Sportspage. Our first guest today is Jennies soccer head coach Louis Theobald. Coach Theobald is in his 17th season with the Jennies. He's the winningest active coach in Division II women's soccer and has coached 21 All-Americans in his career and brought home Jennies soccer's first ever national championship back in 2017. So with all of that, please welcome the head coach of Jennies soccer, Louis Theobald, to Sportspage. So to start, Coach Theobald, 17 seasons with UCM and the Jennies. What's made you stay that long?
Well, I just think it's a great place, right? And, even way back 17 years ago or 18, going on 18, when I interviewed, I think, the place had such great potential for women's soccer on the location it sits with Kansas City and St. Louis, and we've been able to maximize that, I think. And it feels like home now and a place where I've invested a lot of my life into in my career. So it would take a lot to leave this place, and there's still a lot to do here, I think.
And looking at your background, you were at the University of Kansas, where you graduated from. You were a Jayhawk. You ran cross country. You were a 2-year team captain for the cross country team, and you ran indoor and outdoor track. So why soccer?
That's a great question. I get asked that a lot. I grew up in Canada, born in England, grew up in Canada, and was a 3-sport athlete. Played soccer, played hockey, and then ran track. And to be quite honest, I thought my best chance of being really good at something was running track. And but my family's first love, my dad was a coach, and our family's first love was soccer, so I got back into that as soon as I was done and competing at Kansas, and started working my way through the ranks to ultimately end up coaching college.
And one of those first coaching experiences for you was Olathe Northwest High School, where you started both the boys and women's soccer teams. How did that help you build the Jennies soccer team into what it is today?
I think, my very first job was a student teaching job, and I worked under Terry Hare at Olathe East High School, and he's still probably the best coach I've ever worked for at any level. And so I took a lot of lessons from that to open up to high school. And, I think coaching is coaching regardless of the level. It's a lot of the same things. So the mistakes I made and things I did well there when I started those programs helped when I moved into college coaching to continue to build a program. And there's something special about high school athletics as well, which you always carry with you, and I think it's a great experience for any college coach to be a high school coach first. I think it helps knowing what these kids are coming from and what they're stepping into.
And the building of the Jennies soccer program was really capped off in 2017 with the first ever national championship. That season your team won 26 games and then ended up in that national championship game 1-1, 2 overtimes, a 5-3 win in a shootout. So that was season number 11 for you. How did that national championship show off the work of so many? Yeah,
I just think, I was a decade into being here and working hard, and a lot of kids had come through the program at that point, and it was just a special year with a group that was really, really special because we relied on a lot of seniors that had played a lot of minutes for their 4 years, and we just felt like it just had that feeling that year that we had a lot of momentum, and we built a lot of momentum as the year went, just with a lot of talent and a lot of desire of good people who were still, really close to me. And the final being in Kansas City made it extra special.
And adversity is a big thing in any sports, but especially at the collegiate level. Before winning that national championship in 2017, you'd won the Central Region 3 times, but that national championship just didn't come. How did you just work through that adversity to get that national championship?
Reality was we kept running into teams that won the national championship, and so getting to get to that point and experience that just, I think, deepened our motivation, and we knew what we needed to do each year with the same group getting to that point to get to a Final Four. I think we really knew it was our last chance with that group, and they had the experience then of knowing what that game was going to feel like. So we went into those games with a lot of confidence that year against the best teams in the country. We knew we were one of them, and we knew we could do it.
And talking about winning those games, you're the winningest active coach in Division II women's soccer, at least coming into this season. How do you keep finding that success?
I'm lucky to have really good players. I mean, we're a program of high standards and expectations, and this place isn't for everybody. It's not easy to play here. We're not an easy staff to play for. So you've got to really embrace the high standards and expectations that we have for them day in, day out. It's not easy. It's not easy for coaches either. But I think across any sport, football, basketball, any sport, if you don't have those high standards, it's really hard to be successful consistently. You can have good one-off years, but it's really hard to be good consistently unless you have this consistent standard of expectation and you deliver it in a consistent way.
And you've talked about that standard or that culture. Is there any motto, or what is that culture like at Jenny Soccer?
I think the one thing we say every year is we want to be the best team we can be by the end and see where that takes us. And so it's really process-oriented. So you're not trying to get too high when you win and not too low when you lose games, and know that you're going to get measured at the end. So just stay in it. But the goal ultimately is to be the best team we can be by the end. And if we've done a good job recruiting and getting the right people here, then we're probably going to be in a really good spot. But it's really unpredictable. Winning and losing is really hard. You can have a lot of talent and not win, just because that's sports, and there's lessons in that too. But we've been pretty fortunate to be pretty consistent.
And you've talked about getting too high or getting too low. You've coached 21 All-Americans in your career, and sometimes with those good players, it's hard to keep them in check. How does that work with Jenny Soccer?
Yeah, I think the best players want to be held accountable, and the best players want high standards, and they want to be challenged like any other player. And so ultimately, then also we ask them to be leaders in the locker room and around our team. If I think really good players, there comes a lot of responsibility, and they've got to put the program first and make sure they're leading in a way that your best players have to be your best people, or it doesn't work.
And right now, you're not just the winningest coach in all of Division II currently, but in the history of Jenny Soccer, you're the winningest head coach. Winningest head coach in the history of the MIAA. What does it mean to you to have that by your name?
I don't really know. I mean, I don't really follow the stats and that, so I'm just trying to do a good job today and a good job tomorrow. So I think just as I've been here a long time probably, but there's a lot of really good coaches in our department. There's a lot of really good coaches in our league in soccer. It's getting harder all the time. I'm just lucky to be at a great place that allows me to be successful. I'm surrounded by great people and great players, and I've had a lot of support in my time here professionally and personally, and that goes a long way to us being successful as a group.
So to getting to that point, being the winningest coach, was that the goal, or was there something else that's kind of a motivation along the way?
Yeah, I don't think that was ever the goal. I don't know if I've never had an ultimate goal for myself. Just for our program, I've always wanted our program to be seen as one of the best in the country at any level, and not just on the field, but the way we carry ourselves in the public and the way we go about our business is really important to me. And I think if there was the motivation to go into coaching was, just that I have a background in sports and it did so much for me in my life that it was an opportunity to be in another role and provide experiences to these younger people that I think are really important, which is accountability, the ability to work hard, to work with a group. Those are really important life lessons that I think aren't being taught everywhere anymore, and this is a great environment for that.
And a big thing about those student athletes is that they're students first. As a Jayhawk, you're selected as academic All Big 12 3 times, so academics are clearly important to you. How do you keep that in check with soccer?
I'll be fair, I don't have to work that hard on that side of it. I think the people we recruit, the kids we recruit to come here, the student athletes, they take their academics very seriously. And I think winners are winners in all aspects of life, not just on the field. So the people we tend to recruit have high standards for themselves in the classroom academically. And then, I think there's a built-in culture within our program that you're going to apply yourself academically as well. So it's just the type of people that are a part of our program, and it makes me feel good when they're successful in other parts of their life. You realize that they're going to go on and do great things with their life. Just like the motto of the university, education for service, we tell them that take the lessons from all areas of your life here at the UCM and go and impact the world, make it a better place.
So we've talked about how you've gotten here, your background. We've talked about how you've built Jenny Soccer to what it is today. So now let's talk about the team this season a little bit. What do people need to know about Jenny Soccer this season? What would you, big takeaway, someone's like, tell me about Jenny Soccer, what would you tell them?
The big takeaway, I think, we got a big senior class that's been here a long time and have worked really hard, and I think we're really talented. we're hitting the end of our season, the regular season. We've got a third to go, and we're in the hunt to finish really high in the conference and potentially go to the NCAA tournament. And I think we have a big upside. But most importantly, I've got a fantastic group of young women that are working really hard to represent everybody here the best they can. They deserve people's support, and they're proud to be here and proud to wear a Jenny on their shirt and compete as hard as they can. But most importantly, I think I'd want people to know that these young women are going to go on and do great things with their lives and make a real difference and make everybody here really proud.
And right now your team is ranked 25th in the nation. Is that something you look at all? Do you ever take those rankings into consideration?
We do in recruiting. I think it helps to promote our program, but for our current program, I don't think it's, there's a lot of things, Player of the Week, National Player of the Week, all those, national rankings, regional polls, all those things can take you out of the process of being the best you can be. So those are distractions in some ways for the current team. So doesn't mean much to us right now. It's where you finish and how you finish the year. So, sometimes you can be lower than you think and you're actually better than you are. You can be higher than you think you should be and you're not as good, and it just distracts from where you really are. So just stay in the process, keep working, and we'll figure out where we are at the end.
Right now at home this season, you have a record of 4-1. That one loss was to number 2 at the time, Grand Valley State, by 1 goal. So what does this record say about the support that Jenny Soccer gets to the South Recreation Complex in Warrensburg?
Yeah, we take a lot of pride at home, I think, like any team would. I mean, South Rec's a great place for us to play. We have a great home record, and I think a lot of it comes down to the people who turn up and cheer us on. Our kids get pretty excited and motivated and play a lot more energy when that's the case. So any support we can get, we'll take.
And at this point, the soccer season is winding down. So what's the message to the Jennies as you near the end of the regular season?
It's now just go play hard. We've done a lot of work. We're not changing too much. We know who we are, and when we hit our level, what we control the controllables, we are really good, and we'll be a tough team to beat, and we'll win a lot of games, but we got to control that to the best of our ability.
And controlling those controllables for 17 seasons, you've been very consistent, at least leading these teams, never a season below 500. How do you continue that success, that consistency?
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't know if we think about it in those terms. I just think every team individually has to attack the year the best they can, and then we've got high standard. I think we're not a program that would be pretty happy around 500 or below. I don't think that's what the expectation is for us. So the expectation at UCM is pretty clear: go win championships.
So what's next for these Jennies this season?
Friday night we play Central Oklahoma at home, and it's a big game, big in league and region game, and that's coming up. But most importantly, we got a couple of big practices to get ready for that.
So what's next for yourself, Coach Lewis Theobald? What's coming? You've had 17 seasons here. Anything on the horizon for yourself?
No, nothing. I mean, I love what I'm doing. I love the program that I'm a part of, and the school that I'm a part of, and the department I'm a part of, and there's a lot to accomplish here. So my focus is to work as hard as I can to bring more championships and a lot of pride to this university.
Well, Coach Theobald, congratulations on all of your success, and best of luck with the rest of the season. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to meet a player who plays under Coach Theobald. Ashleigh Martin is on right after this. Welcome back to Sportspage. In this next segment, we will be joined by Jenny Soccer Forward, Ashleigh Martin. Ashleigh is a senior for the Gens who comes from St. Charles, Missouri. The Francis Howell High School product made an immediate impact for the Jennies her freshman year and has been a big name ever since. Please welcome Ashleigh Martin to Sportspage. So Ashleigh, coming out of Francis Howell High School, you're all-state, all-region, all-district, all-conference, so I bet there are plenty of schools wanting you. Why UCM?
I ultimately wanted a school that was relatively close to home, not like right by my house, but in a good 3 to 4 hour distance. So that's kind of where I started with. And then I just liked the culture around UCM and the kind of the environment Lewis has created. I wanted a program that was competitive and that I was going to have to earn my playing time every single game, and I just loved that about kind of UCM in the program. I didn't know my major coming into college, and so that didn't play a huge factor into my college, so it was mainly just the kind of the environment Lewis has created around our soccer program.
So at Francis Hall, you played basketball and you ran cross country. Were either of those ever in the cards for you in college, or was it always soccer?
It was always really only soccer. I started running cross country to get more in shape for soccer, and then I ended up loving it actually. But Yeah, it's always been soccer. I just played those because I just love staying busy and yeah.
So your head coach, Coach Theobald, he ran cross country in college as a Jayhawk. Did you know that? Was that a connection between you two at the beginning?
I learned that when I was on my visit with him, but prior to the visit, I did not know that, no.
So you've played in every single game for the Jennies, starting your freshman year, no red shirt, no COVID year, that was before you were here. So every single game from 2021 to now, you've played in it. How do you do it? How do you play in every game? How do you stay so consistent?
I think it's just, again, the environment Lewis has created around our program. My freshman year, I had no expectations of what college soccer was even going to be like. And I mean, no one in my family has played a college sport. And so I think I just came here and I kind of felt like the underdog at first because I didn't know what to expect. And I just worked hard every game and every practice and just trying to earn little by my playing time, game by game.
So you've talked about earning your playing time, and you sure have. What kind of work has that taken? Has it been just practice? Has it been a lot outside of practice? What has that been for you?
It's been in practice and outside of practice. I mean, just freshman year a lot, I would come in and outside of practice and shoot with a few other girls and just or just go into meetings with Lewis and asking him okay, I don't understand this. Can you explain that to me? And just getting that extra practice outside of practice, but also just competing every single day with the girls. And I think our team makes that so easy. And I think we're all so competitive with each other. And we all want to earn that playing time and earn the starting spot. I think we all have the same goal. And so I think that makes it really easy to work hard every single day.
And your sister, Haley Martin, is one of those on the team, a goalkeeper. What's it like having your younger sister on the Gens with you?
It's so fun, especially me being a forward and then she's a goalie, just shooting against her. Yeah, it motivates me every single day, and she's always been my biggest cheerleader. Even in practice when I score against her, she'll be good shot, Ash. She'll even when I score against her, she always just is encouraging me.
And you've talked about this, you're a forward, Haley's a goalkeeper. How do you end up in two very different positions in the same sport?
Honestly, I don't know. She's always been a goalkeeper. I've always been a forward, and it's been so it's been so nice. I mean, even in during the summers, I can go shoot against her, and we just always have someone who we can train with.
Were you a reason that Haley came to UCM at all?
I think that was a huge factor in it. I think that we've always wanted to play soccer together, and not a lot of people get the chance to play college soccer with their siblings. So I think that was really special.
So we've talked about your family. Let's talk about your parents for a second, Jeff and Katie. How much of a support have they been in your career?
They support me every single day. My dad used to coach me when I was little, so it started from that. I think he's the reason I am where I am, and he kind of made me fall in love with soccer even more. And even now with my senior year, they go to every single game that they possibly can. They just traveled to Dallas. They flew to Dallas for one game to see me play, then they left. And just knowing that they're always in the stands, and even if when they can't be, they are always watching, I think it just motivates me and helps me a lot.
So you've talked about that love for soccer. What initially made you fall in love with the sport?
Honestly, I've always just been a really competitive and active person. I've just loved running around and doing stuff even when I was little. And so I think just the competitive environment is always, I don't know, it's always just been something I've loved since I was little.
And last season on the pitch, you had a team best of 8 assists. If you look out at the youth games, they're all huddled around the ball, they're chasing after it. So it's just natural to want the ball. How have you been made so unselfish to get those assists?
I think it just comes with my position, and it's also part of my personality. I want the ball. I want the ball to my feet, and I love running at players and then serving the ball in the box. I love seeing other people score, other people get their first college goal. Sometimes I feel I get more excited when other people score than when I score. I just love, getting the ball in the box, beating my defender, running down the field.
So last week on Sportspage, we had Zach Zabrowski on, the Harlan Hill winner, and a big thing about him was unselfishness. He had the assist record at his high school for basketball. So would you say to be great, because you were great at soccer, he's been great, is unselfishness a big part of that?
I think it's a huge part of it, yeah. I think wanting to set up your teammates for success makes you successful, and I think it makes people good. I also think the good players also have to be selfish at times, so I think just finding the balance between when do you need to be selfish and take it for yourself, and when do you need to be unselfish and set the person up for a better shot or a better chance.
And you've talked about the culture a little bit of Jenny's Soccer, so could you take me through that a little more? Is there like a motto that you guys follow? How does that work out for you all?
Yeah, we have 5 core values that we kind of look at every single week, and we have a hard hat that like we focus on one core value every week, and like we give the hard hat out to the person who demonstrates that core value. One of them is competitiveness and like constantly competing with each other. And we have honesty, attitude, and so I think we just really try to focus on that. And we have PGMs every Monday, and we just focus on, okay, what needs to be better, we just focus on our culture behind our program. And I think that's ultimately helped us on the field as well.
And that hard hat, is that given to someone who plays a lot sometimes, or sometimes someone who maybe supports from behind the scenes?
Playing time is not really a factor in the hard hat. It's just like at practice, okay, who has a good attitude, who's constantly competing. It goes with games too, but it's not based on playing time. It's just based off who has demonstrated that core value.
So do you think that would speak into the culture, having those players who just support from behind? Because every team needs those bench players who really support, and then also the players who have success. Does that speak into how UCM soccer has been so successful?
Yeah, for sure. And I think on the team, we always are emphasizing that every single person is valued, and your value is not dependent on how many minutes you play. I mean, the people on the bench, they give so much energy, and they're the reason sometimes why us on the field are having so much success, or like just like energy. And I think that, I think we just try to emphasize that no matter how many minutes you play, you're still valued the same.
And we've talked about this team this year a little bit. What would you tell someone that they would need to know about Jenny Soccer? Someone came up to you and like, tell me about Jenny Soccer. What would you want them to know?
Probably just that you need to compete, but also know and do your best. Be ready to do your best every single day, but know that you're going to have so many people supporting you, and they're just going to want, like, your teammates, the coaches, like, they're going to push you to be your best, but they just want the best for you. And so, yeah.
So this season you have a hat trick to your name. That was on October the 6th on the road at Nebraska Kearney. Was that the first of your career?
Yeah.
So how special was that to have that?
It was really special. Like I said, it was my first of my career and my college career, and it was just special to get that and to celebrate like with my team, and everyone was so happy to me. And when I scored my 3rd goal, my sister Haley was actually in goal, so it was just special. Like, she was on the field when I scored my 3rd goal, so yeah.
Have you had a hat trick in the past before?
In like club and high school, but not in college.
So was this one a little more special? Or?
Yeah, it meant a lot more.
So a thing we talk about in athletics is academics within athletics. How do you stay on top of the GPA while also being one of the premier soccer players in the MIAA in the nation?
I think it's just kind of figuring out how to manage your time. And I mean, all my professors and like Lewis too, they make it a lot easier to like work with my like schedule. And I think just managing your time well and figuring out like, okay, I need to do homework on the bus, or like on away trips. Lewis does a good job of like giving us time for like homework and stuff. And so I just think just being able to manage your time well and not procrastinate or put things off until last minute. And
your major is speech language pathology, and that's not easy, I hear. So how has it been? What drew you to that field first off?
I knew I always wanted to work with kids, and I could never really see myself as a teacher. And I came into UCM, I was in the open options program, and I kind of went to a few like career things and like talked to the speech language pathology tables, and it just like, I instantly like knew. I was like, okay, I can definitely see myself doing that. Just like working with kids and helping them and like seeing them like accomplish so much. That just drew me to the major.
So is the goal to work in schools in the future?
I thought I did when I first declared my major, and now I'm leaning more towards a hospital, but I still want to work with kids.
So now the season is winding down. What has been the message for the remainder of the season to keep the success rolling?
I think we're just focusing on taking it one game at a time, weekend by weekend, and focusing on the Friday game and then the Sunday game. And I think we're just focused on getting as many points every weekend and every game as possible. We know that no game is going to be easy, and each game is going to bring its different challenges. So just focusing game by game, trying to get as many points as possible leading into postseason.
And each game has its own challenges. How do you work through that on a game-to-game basis?
Yeah, I think I think our team is really good at, like, and Lewis is just like seeing like, okay, this is not working, and we are so good at just like changing things on the fly. Or like, I mean, there's been so many games at halftime we'll just change things, and we're so good at like adjusting to that change, and yeah.
So adjusting to that change, I mean, does that speak to the culture a little bit? Is that a lot of behind the scenes work, or is it a lot of the starters? How does that work out?
I think it's a lot of the behind the scenes work and just us being like all in, like knowing like, okay, this may not have worked in the first half, but like it'll be okay because we're going to change things, and just everyone has to be all into that change and that adjustment, and I think we have that.
So we've talked about your high school a little bit, and going into your past year club soccer team, Lou Fuse Soccer Club. How has that helped shape you to who you are today as a soccer player?
Yeah, my club coach, Todd Phillips, he was great, and he pushed me every single day, just how Lewis does, to be my best. He did not take it easy on me, and he let me know when like it wasn't good enough, and I appreciate that more than anything. I think it's kind of helped me succeed coming into my freshman year here at UCM, just that like work ethic and like knowing that like, and also giving me like confidence, like telling me like you are good enough to play in college, and giving me that confidence coming into my freshman year.
Did you always have the same coach in club soccer?
Yeah, I had, well, when I first started playing soccer, Greg Klinge was my coach, and he kind of is him and my dad, he was one of the reasons like I fell in love with soccer, and like I knew I wanted to play in college. And then the club, like there was like an age like difference, so age change, and so it was based off like years, and so our team kind of split up, and then Todd took over. And
talking about the teams, those people you've played with, have you gotten to play against any of them in college?
A few have transferred into the MIAA. A lot of my friends are in closer to home, so in the GLVC conference.
And what's next for Ashleigh Martin?
Honestly, I'm not really sure. I'm just kind of focused on right now and just trying to succeed right now and enjoying my last games last year.
Well, Ashleigh, congratulations on all of your success in your career, and best of luck the rest of this season and beyond. That's all of the time we have for this episode. I'd like to thank our guests, Coach Lewis Theobald and Ashleigh Martin, for joining me, and hope you'll tune in next time for Sportspage.